Authenticity is one of those buzzwords that everyone loves to throw around, as if being authentic is the ultimate badge of honor. But let's not kid ourselves. Authenticity isn't all sunshine and self-acceptance. The truth is, authenticity can be downright painful, and anyone who tells you otherwise isn't being real with you. Embracing your true self, especially in a world that often values conformity over individuality, isn't for the faint of heart. It's a process that can feel more like a battle than a journey. And it's time we acknowledge the gritty reality behind what it really means to live authentically. First off, being authentic means stripping away the masks you've worn to fit in, to be liked, or to avoid conflict. These masks aren't just superficial, they're often deeply ingrained defenses you've built up over years of trying to navigate a world that doesn't always appreciate who you really are. Peeling them away can feel like exposing raw nerve endings to the elements. It's uncomfortable, it's vulnerable, and it forces you to confront parts of yourself that you've buried for a long time. The reality is, authenticity demands that you face your fears, insecurities, and the uncomfortable truths about yourself head on. And then there's the backlash. Let's be honest. Being authentic often means disappointing people. It means saying things others don't want to hear, standing up for what you believe in, and refusing to conform to expectations that don't align with your true self. The hard truth is, not everyone will like the real you. Some people will be uncomfortable with your honesty. Others will feel threatened by your refusal to play along with the status quo. And some might even walk away from you altogether. This rejection can sting, especially when it comes from people you care about or those you've spent years trying to please. But here's the kicker. The pain of authenticity doesn't just come from how others react to you, it comes from within, too. Authenticity forces you to challenge the narratives you've built around your identity, to question the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. It means letting go of the safety of old habits and beliefs, even when they've become a part of how you define yourself. This kind of self-examination isn't just uncomfortable, it can be downright terrifying. It's easier to stick with the familiar, even if it's not who you really are, than to venture into the unknown territory of your true self. Another painful truth about authenticity is that it often requires you to confront the disconnect between who you are and who you've been pretending to be. Maybe you've been living a life that looks perfect on the outside but feels empty on the inside. Maybe you've been following a path laid out by others, ignoring your own desires and passions. Coming to terms with this disconnect can be heartbreaking because it forces you to acknowledge the time and energy you've wasted trying to be someone you're not. It's painful to realize that you've been living a lie, even if that lie was comfortable and safe. But perhaps the most painful aspect of authenticity is the loneliness that can come with it. When you start living authentically, you might find that the world around you doesn't quite fit anymore. The people, places, and situations that once felt familiar may start to feel alien because they were built around a version of you that no longer exists. This can be an isolating experience as you navigate the gap between the old you and the new, more authentic version of yourself. It can feel like you're losing more than you're gaining, and the loneliness that accompanies this transition can be overwhelming. However, here's the hard but liberating truth. The pain of authenticity is a necessary part of growth. It's the price you pay for living a life that's true to who you really are, rather than one dictated by others' expectations. The discomfort, the rejection, the self-doubt, these are all signs that you're shedding the false layers and getting closer to your core. Yes, it's painful, but it's also empowering, because it means you're no longer willing to settle for a life that doesn't align with your true self. Living authentically doesn't mean living a life free of pain. It means embracing that pain as part of the process. It's about understanding that the discomfort you feel is a sign of progress, not failure. It's about knowing that the loneliness you experience is a temporary phase, one that will eventually give way to deeper, more meaningful connections with people who appreciate and love the real you. And it's about recognizing that the pain of authenticity is far less costly than the pain of living a life that isn't yours. In the end, the price of authenticity is high, but the cost of not being authentic is even higher. It's the difference between living a life of quiet desperation, always wondering what could have been, and living a life of purpose, passion, and true fulfillment. Yes, authenticity can be painful, but it's a pain worth enduring because it leads you to a life that's genuinely yours, unapologetically, uncompromisingly, and beautifully yours.